Hi guys, welcome to my quick guide build video on the Maw of Mischief Stone Golem Death Wish Ignite build. I won't really go too much in depth, it's not really meant to be a beginner guide, just kind of a showcase, because I found that this build was really fun, really effective, good for clear, good for bossing, and really probably the best Ignite build that I've played, and it's very low-key, it's very hipster. We all love hipster builds using build enabling uniques, and so without further ado, let's just get into it. Just running by the numbers, we are hitting 7 to 10 million Ignite DPS, which is a lot compared to Fireball, Firestorm, Burning Arrow, whatever other Ignite skill. This build does a lot of damage, and it also gives us enough room to be decently tanky. Not only do the minions distract the enemies and face tank a lot of projectiles, but we are also elemental immune. We have elemental aegis, we have 60 to 70 block and spell block with glancing blows, and we also have healing when we ignite enemies. So overall, it's very comfortable for mapping. Right now, level 92. I have not leveled up because I've been running very questionable juiced content, but it is a very effective build for under 5x. You can run this at like 70% efficiency with 1x. It's kind of crazy. Right, so this part of the video we're just going to be explaining how Maw of Mischief works and how Death Wish works as a skill. Death Wish is granted by the helmet, which is from div cards. All it is a channeling skill, and when you channel, it makes your minions blow up after you're done channeling. This does 13% of the minion's maximum life, and so we want to scale the minion life. We choose stone golems because they have extremely high life compared to other minions, and also the fact that it synergizes with the ascendancy. So Liege of the Primordial makes summon golems resummon 4 seconds after being killed. Basically, because we have 5 golems, we can keep exploding them like 1 every second, and they'll just keep coming back, and you can keep blowing them up. Yeah. Elementalist also does really well in scaling ignites, Shape of Flames, Mastermind of Discord, Heart of Destruction. So on bosses you have Convergence, and the AoE is really nice when you are clearing packs during mapping. So now we're just going to do a quick Elder, just show you the DPS and how this build does in bossing. DPS builds are usually, dot builds are usually really easy for bossing. This one is no different. So I get the Wave of Conviction on, slap the Ignite, and you can see its health pretty much instantly drops. So yeah, pretty much instantly phasing it. Now we have to wait for all this stuff. But it's a pretty simple rotation. With other Ignite builds, with other dot builds like Cold Dot, there's a lot of like different skills you need to put on, and even then it's like capping out at maybe like 10 mil DPS, which is a lot of work. This is just 2 buttons with Conviction and Death Wish. You pretty much get your full 5 to 7 mil. You might not get your elemental focus depending if the crit is unlucky. But otherwise, you got Combustion coming from Wave of Conviction, because it always ignites thanks to Elementalist. And usually I like to just throw in a decoy totem when bossing, just as an extra like distraction, and also they deal less damage to you while they're taunted. So we currently do not have shock, but you can swap out Tempest Shield for Skitterbots, but I just prefer the extra tankiness and I don't really need the extra DPS. And so yeah, pretty much a very Oh, we got lucky there. But a very quick, very quick Elder. Yeah, so pretty good build for bossing. Mapping is also really good thanks to Barracks Respite. The Prolif pretty much takes care of everything and handles all the Scourge pretty well. So yeah. Right, so we'll just run through the equipment I have. Maw of Mischief, Unbound Ailments, Burning Damage, Swift Deflection and Cruelty. We have a huge hit just because of how much life the minions have, so we are always at 40% Cruelty, even on bosses like Maven. This shield, I would say, is probably best in slot. Either this or the Vix Lunaris or the Solaris, because they give +2 socketed gems. You can corrupt them for +1 extra socketed gem. And then that will just give you a bunch of levels with Stone Golem and Empower, and then we put on Minion Life. This is a very basic scepter, you can get this for pretty cheap. I just got the fire damage and crafted the fire multi. Combs, I think, is probably the best bet because we don't have much life, and also we don't need the sockets. So this is just a really good defensive and offensive option. You can get a corrupt with increased damage. The amulet you might want to spend more money on. It's you can get plus level of strength skill gems or plus level of physical gems, or both. You can get dot multi or fire dot multi, and you can get a pretty good amulet. This one only cost me about I think 70C. I think someone was selling it for really cheap. And we anoint dirty techniques, which is all the way at the bottom of the tree, but this gives us like a ton of DPS. Barracks Respite is another mandatory unique. You need this for Prolif. Ignite Prolif won't do enough. Fan the Flames is way too small. You want this because the Ignite will actually spread instead of just proliferating from the things you ignite. Because the radius of Maw isn't gonna hit the whole pack. There's a very generic flammability on hit ring with just strength and dex. I can upgrade this to something much better. Fire dot multi gloves and fire ignites deal damage faster. Boots, very simple, very cheap. Now for the Darkness and Throne, the reason why I have this is because these Abyss Jewels are very good. Maximum life, minions have maximum life, and minions deal increased damage if you used a minion skill recently. So if you multiply that by the Darkness and Throne multiplier, you actually get a lot of damage just from these jewels. You aren't gonna get a lot of resist from this, but it's okay because we run Purity of Elements. So this is probably, I would say, best in slot if you get a good jewel. The flasks are not, they're very, you can run whatever flask you want. I just run these for extra armor. And Chalice just to keep these going. Otherwise, that's a very simple gear setup. For Pantheons, I just run stun immunity and less reflected damage and hexes and less curse effect. So less curse effect with the flask. This one, basically 90% less effect of curse. Curses don't do anything. And for reflect, we also run this mastery so that we don't take reflected damage. But you could also take Bastion of Elements if you don't want to deal with Reflect, and also have the Primal Aegis. And Primal Aegis will also synergize with Elemental Aegis, which comes from Magnetic Eclipses. For sockets and gems, we run Combustion and Wave of Conviction to an Arcanist brand. That's down here. Just put it down whenever we have a boss. Stone Golem is in here. As mentioned, the auras we're running are Malevolence, Purity of Elements, and Tempest Shield. Tempest Shield helps a lot because the Reflect also can ignite packs and basically kill packs, normal or magic monsters on their own if you block the damage. And I run Molten Shell with Cosmic Damage Taken because we have about 10k armor, and Convocation just to reposition the minions because when you run forward they kind of linger behind and you want to run into a pack Convocation and then blow them up. So the way that we scale minion life and hence damage is by leveling up the Stone Golem skill primarily. So right now we have a level 28 Stone Golem, level 21 from the Corruption, but as you can see it gains a lot of levels from the Empower and also being socketed in this Magnetic Eclipses, which grants 2 levels to socketed gems. This also levels up Empower. As you can see it's only a level 3 Empower. So you could even max the damage even more if you want to throw 9x into level 4 in power. But for now this will do. I also have plus level of strength skill gems from my amulet, and that is also giving it 1 level. You can get 2 levels by getting also physical gems. You can also get more levels by getting all spell skill gems and physical gems on your weapon, on your scepter, which would bring the level up to like 31 or 32. You could also corrupt this Magna Eclipsis and get a +1 socketed implicit, which would give this another 2 levels. So a lot of room still for scaling, but that's a lot more budget. Otherwise, we are running plenty of Minion Life in the cluster jewels, and also just in the witch skill tree area, you can get these. I just didn't have enough space for these. You want the minion defense mastery, which gives minions have increased maximum life. And over here, we also scale by scaling minion damage also affects you, because a lot of the items we have gives us minion damage. A lot of the damage comes from the Primordial Might jewels, which we have 3 of. 30 increased damage if you summoned a golem in the past 8 seconds, and you are always summoning golems because the golems are resummoning, so that's just a lot of damage, and golems have 21% increased life. So after all of that, we have 150,000 maximum life. In POB, if you min-max everything, you can definitely get up to about 250, maybe even 300,000 life. I haven't gotten that far. You probably need a lot more money to do that. So now we're going to take a look at the POB just to run through all of the other things. So we'll just take a quick look at the POB. This is straight from the game imported into POB, so no like POB warrior shenanigans. We're looking at 7 million Ignite DPS, and that is just from one stage. So if you channel it to 5 stages, because we have 5 golems, we get 9.5. And if we take Convergence, which is 4 seconds every 8 seconds, bam, 12.4 million Ignite DPS, which is a lot. You only see these Ignite numbers really from, I would say, like really min-max discharge builds, and that's usually running like Replica Ember Wake or something like that. This is the full Ignite duration. We don't have Replica Ember Wake, so this is really, really effective. The tree we just path out, go around this way so we can pick up faster Ignite, which is a huge DPS boost. Along the way we just get life and minion life. We need Golem cluster for the increased number of summon golems. And we do need a cluster here because we need 2 extra jewel sockets so we can fit in all our primordial mites. We have 3 primordial mites and 1 anima stone. Anima stone is a very big DPS boost because when it gives us more golems, not is it just convenient, we have more golems to explode, but again it lets us channel it to a higher level, and every channel is 10% more damage. So anima stone is basically giving us 20% more damage once we socket all these primordial mites. And primordial might itself grants us a lot of things like golem's maximum life and increased damage if we summon a golem, and we are always summoning golems, so very, very nice jewel to have. We come around, make sure you get spiritual aid because we do have a lot of minion damage, and come around here for the block cluster, the shield cluster down here, and we get glancing blows just to get our spell block and block to a decent level to keep us relatively tanky. We can take a few hits alongside Molten Shell, and we have about 10k armor if we have all our flasks up. The good thing about Tempest Shield is also that now that it reflects a lot of lightning damage, and it also ignites thanks to Elementalist, this can actually clear packs when you block their hits. And so you get hit by a mob, and it reflects to them, and thanks to this node, recover 2% of life when you ignite a non-ignited enemy. This you are igniting the whole pack thanks to Barrack's Respite. And so this is unlike Prolif. Prolif doesn't count as igniting, it just is a damage over time around the ignited enemy that you ignite, but this actually spreads the ignite, and so this in a pack would actually basically heal you up to full if you reflect using Tempest Shield. Yeah, so very simple tree, not much to get. Um, for the Ascendancy, this is the most damage you can get. If you want to be more tanky, you can get Bastion of Elements. I got Reflect Immunity from Pantheons. I got Yugul and also this Elemental Mastery, so I don't have to worry about Reflect. Um, you can also get Shock instead, but I just preferred Convergence because the AoE when you don't have Convergence is really helpful in clearing and just getting the explosions to hit, because sometimes the golems aren't near the pack. So yeah,